I'm sitting with Jesus Chainsaw Massacre, musicians, bloggers, celebrities, performance artists, karaoke maestros, and now novelists. So tell me a little bit about how you got together. I mentioned karaoke. It seems to be a recurrent theme in the Jesus Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, that's how we kind of met.
The impetus.
Yeah, we frequented the same bar. Metro, we would go crazy on the stage. And Jesus Chainsaw Massacre was kind of already going at that time, but we included him, and that's how it kind of came to fruition. And then Adam, we played shows with him on the tenure of our time together. And he joined us about, 6 months ago?
Yeah. It was a perfect marriage.
Yeah. There was mention of a French maid uniform.
I mean, basically, I just treat the shows as Brian Metro gets to dress up. But I try to do something different for every show, and it's working out okay. And I'd like to come out and say that I'm quite proud that we play all of our instruments live on stage, because ironically we started off at karaoke, and now, like most of the bands in Detroit, they just pump the music in anyway, so it's like, now you're karaoke, and so there's a book.
So, we get to the book is called The Invisible People, and it was, would you like to describe a little bit what it's about?
Various social commentary.
Yeah. It's basically divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is a very linear commentary, satire on how superficial society is and celebrity and blah blah blah. Part 2 actually kind of turns into a Death Wish vigilante tangent, and then it brings it home for Part 3, which is set in Michigan, which is more introspective and much more existential. And I haven't written that part yet.
But we're looking forward to it, of course. So, how true to life is the book?
The book is completely autobiographical. The way that I write is I take a very, very small bit of truth, maybe 1%, and then I just wrap it up in a whole bunch of, fiction. So if the book is like 200 to 250 pages, which is what I'm looking at, probably 2 full pages would be truth and the rest of it would be fiction.
That's actually how they wrote the Bible.
So we're up there.
So yeah, we're in good company then.
Yeah. Except the Bible doesn't have a cool soundtrack to it. Yeah. So, how did the idea come to put a soundtrack to it? Because I'll be honest, when I was reading the first 4 chapters and I put the soundtrack on, I would stray a little bit while listening to it. Was it intended to listen to the soundtrack while you're reading it?
Well, it was my idea. It's like, well, he had the book thing going before I even came out with it. It's like, well, it'd be kind of interesting to put something along to it. It's something that I've never heard of before or hasn't been done a lot. So we started off like, send me a chapter and I'll write something to it. Well, that didn't work out because I didn't ever read the chapters, so I said, just give me the title. Matches out, kind of make it ambiguous and see if it's cool. And it's worked well so far. So, yeah, I guess the overall idea is to listen to it while you read the book. Whenever I do read books, I'm always listening to music.
It's like a variation on audio stuff.
Yeah. So, the initial thought, I guess, is to listen to the music while you read the book.
Yeah.
But they both can be done independently. So I mean, whereas this project is like under the old like Jesus Chainsaw banner, it's actually like kind of 2 separate solo things. So it's basically our whiteout,
It's our
speaker box.
Yeah. All right.
I love the love.
Yeah. So we got whiteout.
Yeah. So here's a quote. I just want to read this, or if you want to read it, you can. Okay. This is a small quote. Yeah, so I end up meeting this guy. He asked JR at a karaoke bar. I know, spare me. And he has this band, and for some unexplainable reason, he knows that I have a band. When I was living in New York, so when he asked me if I want to be in his band, Jesus Chainsaw Massacre, I say, sure, why not? And it's not like I had anything going at the time, blah, 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 mindless exposition. And we end up being the most hated band in the Detroit scene, which really isn't that much of a scene, but more like a science club in high school that... ... Could you finish that sentence for me?
Let me preface this by saying, 2% of that is fiction. I know, wait, is true. Yeah, all that is fiction. We love the Detroit music scene. But that's basically how I would finish it. I've grown so much as a person and just love the sense of community and the sense of support in the local music scene.
Totally. I mean, like of all the cities that I've been to, it's always better to come back to Detroit.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah. New York's fun. Chicago's cool.
I mean, yeah.
Give me Detroit.
Actually, all of that was just 2% of truth.
Yes. Give it rock and roll.
Do you think the Detroit scene is large enough for the Jesus Chainsaw Massacre?
That's tough. I mean, with the Detroit music scene like being so stagnant as it is, maybe the question should be: Is the Jesus Chainsaw Massacre too large for the local music scene?
Or wonderful.
Yeah.
It's the same exact question.
You just said the same thing a little bit differently.
So you have a popular blog. Live shows, performance, novels. Are there any other ventures that you're looking into right now?
I've started doing a lot of animation stuff, and so I've been taking some of the songs and putting together little animated segments with the thought that we could be projecting it on the screen while we're performing.
Okay. Yeah, you're
almost kind of like a guerrilla sort of thing, but sweet.
Well, how much are you influenced by, say, Theater of the Absurd or The Exploding Plastic and
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's the story about when Andy Warhol takes Velvet Underground to the psychiatric convention and they start playing what is the Black Angels death song.
Yeah.
And they come out just stamping photos in everybody's faces. I mean that kind of
that's a good idea.
Confrontational.
Yeah.
Performance.
I always found it ever since the get-go, even when we were, drawing as well when we first started out, we knew we had something because we either clear a bar or everyone would stick around. There was never any middle ground. You would either say, you guys are sweet, we're coming to when's the next show type of shit, or they hate us. So, being that there was no middle ground, like, these guys are alright, whatever. We kind of knew that we both something that, albeit love or hate for people.
A response is a good response.
Yeah. Do you still see yourselves as the villain of the Detroit music scene?
Yeah.
I do. I personally do, because I think any thriving scene or movie or a book or anything is dull and basically pointless without an antagonist. You need the yin to the yang, and if everybody is just like, everything is so happy and great and perfect, on this side of the music scene, you need, boring, mundane. You need something to balance it out, and I'd like to think that we keep the balance.
This book, The Invisible People, you are having a show for it?
Yes.
And tell us where.
It is next Saturday, the 15th. Doors are around 5. It starts at 6. It only goes from 6 to 8. So I think there's like 12 other bands playing that night. So you can still get out to come support the library, which is
it's at the Ferndale Public Library.
The library has really embraced us, and it's a great cause. Us and. And basically, it goes from 6 to 8 at the Ferndale Library. We're going to have refreshments, and it's going to be very, very loose. We have a local rapper, Shiki McFly, who will be performing in between the readings, and going to be reading excerpts from the book where
We'll be playing the soundtrack behind it.
We'll be playing the soundtrack live, so we're not actually going to like pipe the music in. They're going to be performing the actual soundtrack live. So we're gunning for like a casual atmosphere, kind of like a throwback to like the whole like Andy Warhol factory thing. You have somebody doing like the theater, the reading thing, and then if you're not into that, you just appreciate the music. So then there's going to be something for everybody. So it's next Saturday.
Okay.
Never been done.
It's family friendly.
Family friendly.
Yeah, go figure.
I'd like to thank you guys for.
Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for the attention.
Go see him May 15th, Ferndale Public Library.
It's free.
And it's free.